Hello, Cooper Clever 1972 here, back with the next installment of my entire DVD and Blu-ray collection. I was going to show you the Matrix. I will show you the Matrix box set, but in this particular version, this particular video rather, I'm going to show you my Peter Jackson collection because right next to the Matrix were the Lord of the Rings, and I have the extended editions of those. Not in the same location, but I also thought because it's relevant to Peter Jackson, I have the Hobbit movies, extended editions as well. And then, of course, I also have King Kong. And I have the theatrical version of that, and I have the extended version of that. So let's start off with Lord of the Rings. I've said that I find these films entertaining. I know some people think they might be the greatest films of all time. I'm not going to go out on a limb and say that. I think they're entertaining, but I don't think they really belong in the same stratosphere or same level or tier as, say, Citizen Kane or La Dolce Vita or Throne of Blood or Ikiru, Seven Samurai, Seven Seal, The Shame, films, Apocalypse Now or The Conformist. I'm throwing out a whole bunch of films that I think are way better, So, anyways, but as far as pure entertainment goes, and I've watched these a few times, sometimes I feel why not throw them into the player and watch them because I do like I sometimes like. Well, I like to watch lengthy films sometimes because I like seeing something really long and epic and everything. So, anyways, here's the first one, The Fellowship of the Ring, and these particular movies, they basically threw everything in, including the kitchen sink. And what I mean by that is, that they show you every single facet of the movie, every single thing, not just. I mean, like catering. I think, for example, they show you that, which you would never see in most special features. I mean, this is filled to death. I mean. And I think these Lord of the Rings extended editions are, I would say, more in depth than the Hobbit ones. The Hobbit ones are quite in depth, I'm in the midst of them. I'm on the Desolation of Smaug. But I think Lord of the Rings is a little bit more lengthy to them, maybe, I'd say. Because... And at the time when I bought the Lord of the Rings, I don't think there was Blu-ray around, or if there was, it was just starting out, maybe, or maybe, I don't know. Disc 1. Disc 2. And these drawings are by Alan Lee and who's the other guy? John Howe, I think. They're after they started working with Peter Jackson on the Lord of the Rings movies, they stayed on and they've done not just The Hobbit, but they've done King Kong for him as well, I believe. Yeah, they did King Kong. And I'm excited for March to come because that's going to be the sequel to King Kong, Skull Island, and I'm looking forward to that. Anyways, so, I'd say if you're really into filmmaking, if you really want to see, even if you don't really love these movies, the thing about these films, these extended versions that I'm talking about, they are loaded with special features. they'll show you sketches through a slideshow of every single sketch they made for a character. Even though, so like if they went through like 60 sketches for a character, you will see every single one. It's that nuanced and detailed. And the special features, maybe they're, well, let's see. I think it's like 6 hours each on each disc. Well, no. This is a DVD, and I'm sorry, you can't fit 6 hours. 3 hours per disc. That's what I meant. 3 hours. Yeah, so it's got storyboards, pre-visualization. Oh, and it also has 4 commentaries. All the 3 Lord of the Rings have commentaries. One's by the screenwriters, which are Peter Jackson, his wife Fran Walsh, and their co-writer Philippa Boyens. Then they have a cast commentary. So they have people. They have Elijah Wood. They have Ian McKellen, Sean Astin. The other Hobbit characters, Billy Boyd, I think. Whole range of people. And then they have, let's see. The production and design team. So you'll see people like Richard Taylor, who designed the makeup, for the films. And you'll see the post-production team, the editor and all that. And they show you like how this particular set of films, and this was the case of The Hobbit as well, and maybe a fair number you might know about this, but they were shooting other parts of the film while they were making the first one, But that's probably old news. Everybody knows those things. But anyways, I thought I'd share that with you. And probably a lot of people have already shown these Lord of the Rings movies. I'll just briefly show you. Oh, and there's a picture on the back of this. Oh, there's a picture on the back of the DVD case. They're in Khazad-dûm, I guess, the dwarf city, mining citadel. I don't know, whatever it is. So this is the Two Towers. For me, they get better as they go along. Return of the King is my particular favorite. I know some people are lovers of Fellowship of the Ring, but I like the Return of the King the best. It's much more epic, and it's more I don't know, it's more interesting. I find all these things fascinating on these Lord of the Rings movies, like the miniatures. They call them bigatures because they were incredibly big. Hang on, I'll show you the layout there. Like I said in the previous video, I mean, if you're watching this right now, you don't want to watch all this, or you want to fast forward to the King Kong or to the Hobbit or whatever, or if you just don't want to watch the rest of this video, go ahead, go somewhere else. I totally understand. It's time consuming, and we all have things to fry, things to do. So I understand, And this particular one, Gollum, comes into the universe of the Lord of the Rings. He's an interesting character. they tell about how they came to, you know, bring that character to life, and that's pretty fascinating. Um, Two Towers is not too bad. Parts of it I really like. Um, the scene where Christopher Lee is talking to orcs. It's sort of like Nuremberg, the Nazis, like Triumph of the Will by Leni Riefenstahl. I think it probably, I wouldn't be surprised if it's sort of like that's where that idea came from. And the siege on, what's that place called? Helm's Deep. And at the very end there, with the speech, the voiceover narration speech, well, I don't know if it's narration, the voiceover speech, an encouraging speech that Sean Astin gives about hope and why it's so important. So that's pretty good. But last is on Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. And see, it's got some artwork on the back there. Maybe I'm not getting into as much detail on these because I don't know, these are not types of films I usually watch all the time. I don't know. I don't know. I'm more into watching foreign cinema, or like classic movies, I guess. Or modern classics as well. Some independence, and yeah. So for me, I when I was a kid, I used to like fantasy more, I would say. Nowadays, for me, I generally like things that are more real, that could actually happen. And like with foreign films, I like them because you get to see another culture, but you get to see how similar we are as well to each other. And even though we live in different parts of the world. So I'm not really getting too much detail on these Lord of the Rings. I think I've said what I have to say about them. Okay, we'll do The Hobbit. I was going to do King Kong, but I'll do The Hobbit first. So before I had a Blu-ray player, I still had a DVD player, obviously. So the first Hobbit I bought was on DVD, extended edition. These are not too bad, these Hobbit movies. Of course, the story takes place before the Lord of the Rings. And I have to say, I guess I like Lord of the Rings better, but there are parts of this that are really incredible to watch and really entertaining. I don't know if I'm going to pull those. I'll just pull. Well, you know what? I'll show you the discs. I'll just show you the discs. Because the next two Hobbits are Blu-rays. That's the, what's that place called? The Goblins. And, I like science fiction, but I like it if it has an element of, relevance to some kind of philosophical idea or technology that could endanger us. I'm not doing this right. I guess you see it. Um, if if you want to see a really good, if you get Netflix streaming, you want to see a really good show that uses technology. It's the idea about behind the show is that um, innovative technology that we have can be used for devious purposes. It's a film called, not a film, a TV show called Black Mirror. It's on Netflix streaming. It's worth taking a look at. There's only like 3 episodes for first season. Maybe it's eight episodes for the second. And I think like 11 or 13 for third. And I don't know if they're continuing it, but I thought it was a really good show, you know. And, I've been watching The Walking Dead, but it's become kind of tiresome, I think, because, they sort of like, they get the group of the group of people get separated, then they meet, then they separate, then they meet. And it's always the same thing. Yes, they can find innovative ways for zombies to do, come out of certain areas or come through a ceiling, or they're in the water, or they're in a tunnel. But I'm trying to get through it, but it's just kind of, I'm sort of getting tired of it, Next one is Desolation of Smog. I like this one. It might be my. The Battle of Five Armies is not too bad, but and this was a Blu-ray. But I think I like seeing Bilbo with Smog the dragon, and I saw these all in 3D, and I just thought they were great, So, and if you're wondering, like, if you want to buy The Hobbit, if you like the Hobbit movies, highly consider getting an extended edition, because you'll find, especially if you like all this behind the scenes stuff and you like to see how they made, how all of it was done, like on Desolation of Smog, the first disc, behind the scenes disc, special features, is 5 hours long. So, be prepared to hunker down and watch a lot of footage. And then, so maybe it's longer than Lord of the Rings. I'm not quite sure. Here's Battle of Five Armies. I have watched the movie. Again, in the theater, but I've also seen it on my Blu-ray player. But I haven't watched the special features on this yet. So these films are entertaining, but they just, I don't know, they just don't get me, because maybe if I was a kid, I would get into them more, but I just can't get into it, I just, to a certain degree, I can get into it, but it's not Kurosawa, it's not Fellini, it's not Bergman, it's not Buñuel or Melville or Godard or Tarkovsky or Fassbinder. It's not one of those guys. It's not Vittorio De Sica. It's just nothing to chew on in these movies. Nothing to think about, in my opinion. So I basically view them as just pure entertainment. Science fiction, I think, is different, because science fiction has the possibility. Not all science fiction films, like Star Wars, probably doesn't have the possibility of becoming true. But I love the first 2 Star Wars, New Hope and Empire Strikes Back, and I'll show you my box set of that when we get there. And that's pretty soon. That'll be coming out pretty soon. But most science fiction I like is stuff that has a good possibility of being real, or might become real, or most probably will. Like Blade Runner. It's one of my favorite films of all time. What else? I don't know. I can't think of any. But I don't know. Is Videodrome considered science fiction? That's David Cronenberg. Maybe he sort of straddles both science fiction and horror. So let's see. So let's see. Okay, so anyways, when King Kong came out in between Lord of the Rings and Hobbit, Peter Jackson he was selling the film more than once. So the first thing he did was he sold this while it was showing in the theaters. It's a production diaries. And it's sort of like, not every day, but a lot of days, they're showing what's happening on the set of King Kong. And this is what I think Peter Jackson wanted to make rather than Lord of the Rings. This is like his labor of love or what have you. So it comes with this like clipboard kind of thing, and I'll pull it out of here so you can take a look. It comes with like a notebook, well, like a pamphlet. See, I don't know if I'm gonna go through all those pages. Maybe I'll just if you can take a look there. I enjoyed this film a lot. I think this is great. It's probably better than the Hobbit and Lord of the Rings movies, because I don't think a giant ape is going to be come to life, but involves real Depression era New York. Said in the past, but it obviously happened. So there's a production diaries, and then what came with it were these certificates of authenticity. I have these kinds of things with a few movies that I own, like postcards of Good, Bad, and the Ugly, and I have some artwork for, I don't know if it's Batman Begins or The Dark Knight, can't remember. Okay, so I guess these are some production sketches that they decided to release to the public. That's like Naomi Watts' character becoming a sacrifice for the tribe that lives on the island. That's New York. There's King Kong in New York going through the streets. So he came out with two versions. So he released the theatrical version, and then what came along with this post-production diaries. So that box I previously showed you, that was during shooting. So this is the post-production. It also has a Skull Island, a natural history, and Kong's New York. So they're telling about what New York was like in 1933. And I have seen the original King Kong. I know it's supposed to be a legendary movie. I mean, today maybe some of the animation looks, the stop motion animation looks kind of herky-jerky and not very realistic, but still it's a milestone. And but Peter Jackson, he really went to town with this. He really went took more liberties with it. They had more dinosaurs and whatnot. Like bugs and worms and caterpillars and then this is the theatrical, not the theatrical. It's the deluxe extended edition, and it's got 38 minutes of deleted scenes, feature commentary, the eighth blunder of the world, the must-see outtakes and gag reel, recreating the eighth wonder, the making of King Kong, fascinating behind-the-scenes featurettes, Return to Skull Island, creating the mystical world of Skull Island, The Present, an original short film made by the cast of King Kong, original computer animated storyboards of Kong's exciting action sequences, the video galleries, hundreds of works of brilliant conceptual King Kong artwork, and a ROM script, including the 2003 and 1996 scripts for King Kong. So, and if you're wondering, should I get Lord of the Rings, Hobbit, or should I get King Kong? I'm going to say King Kong, I guess. You know, not that Lord of the Rings and Hobbit aren't entertaining, but I don't know. It's probably my reason is because this is more grounded in reality, even though there's no such thing as a, huge ape, So we're going to end it with that. That'll do it for this video. So keep your eyes out. Maybe I have some Disney and Pixar movies. I see over there my Disney Fantasia box set, and I see below that my Toy Story box set. I don't know if I should mix that in with the Matrix or not. We'll see. I might do the Matrix just by itself. I'm not quite sure. But anyways, that does it for the video. So just be on the lookout. I'll be back, and thanks for watching.